Hello, my friend. My desire is that you would be happily married. Not just married, but that it would be happily married, and that your marriage would be growing every year, and that you and your partner would be closer. And as I was looking at my own marriage, we just celebrated 19 years of marriage. And we met when we were 13 years old. We started dating when we were 17, and thankfully, every year I can say, honestly, we're closer together and a stronger marriage every year. And so here's 19 tips on how to grow and prosper in your marriage. All right, I'll make them rapid fire. Number one, Jesus is the center. There is no marriage that will be totally fulfilled apart from Jesus. See, he's the one that changes us on an individual basis. He is the one that changes us together. So Jesus being at the center. Number two, communication. Communication is so key, specifically when we are not in a good state, arguing. It's good that we communicate. And one of the things we learned through marriage coaching early on, and then later on more significantly, was that when we are triggered, low emotionally, all these different areas, that there needs to be a communicator and there needs to be a speaker. And if you're both trying to communicate at the same time, it just gets louder or totally silent. And so you might be more of a speaker, or you might be more of an internal processor, whatever it is. But when you are arguing, one person speaking, the other one truly listening, and listening to understand is crucial in that. We'll have another video on that later. But number three, that there are certain areas of your life that you need plays around. Certain areas where you continually go around and argue about. Look, no matter our marriage, we are all at the end, we are a son of Adam and a daughter of Eve. Sin is in there. And so we are going to have these points where we continually argue. And so if you have a play like how you're going to handle that, it helps things dramatically. Number four, your personal growth with God above all else. See, no matter if we're married or not, God is still number one. And your relationship with Him being number one, when it's in that place, the marriage will prosper when two people are doing that. All right, number five, mini moons. This is what my grandma called them. I don't know where she got it. She could have got it from a book. I don't know if you've heard this, but mini moons. So when you get married, you have a thing called a honeymoon. Some have been on those, some have not. But what she described was mini moons, that often you need these getaways together alone. Doesn't matter if you have young kids, doesn't matter if kids are grown and gone and you're all at home by yourself, you still need these getaways, and they're called mini moons for her. We love it, we run with it. So mini moons. Number six, creative I love you. What are different ways that you can show your spouse that you love them? Be creative about it. It can be a game. You know, my wife and I play these games together, and it's a lot of fun. I own a pizza restaurant. I send her pizza puns of I love yous all the time. She rolls her eyes, but I know she likes it. All right, number seven, pray together. Look, pray together. I don't know if you're comfortable praying out loud. We have different comfortabilities with that. You should be the safest with your spouse. I know that's not true for everyone, but that's the goal. And so pray together. It unites you as a couple. 8, grow together. Marriage conferences, coaching, different areas. Are you invested in it and growing together? Number 9, when you're reactive, remember, it's what's going on in you, not what they're doing. This is a hard one, but it's true. I've found it true in my life, and every person that I've ever met with, I've found it true in theirs too. See, things that I'm not worried about, that I'm not self-conscious about, no matter if it's my spouse or someone else, they comment on it, it doesn't bug me. But areas I get triggered, it's something internal. And so having a perspective of reminding that it's something going on in me, not her actions, was a game changer. Number 10, serve. If you're married, Scripture's pretty clear. It's all about service. See, as a man, I'm supposed to die to myself like Christ did to the church. Holy smokes. I made a vow to my wife that I would fail at that, but I would always try my best. And so, do you have a heart of service? When we get out that heart of service, honestly, it gets all wonky in marriage. Number 11, fun small goals. I mentioned pizza puns. I have a fun goal almost every day to make my wife smile. It's a good reminder of me. One, I like measurement, and so I get all excited about nerding out and yes, accomplished. Also, it just makes it more fun. Like, the fun can get sucked out of marriage, and it can be all about doing and bills and kids and chores and lists. That is not an enjoyable life. Can you add some fun through a fun goal? I don't know. For me, like I said, it's making you smile. It could be, I'm going to send a pun, whatever it is. And if you have not done these fun things, just a little note. They might be weirded out at first. So don't let that deter you. Keep going. All right. Number 12, date night. Consistently, weekly. It doesn't have to be something that costs money. It doesn't even need to be outside the house. When COVID hit, we did date night in our bedroom. When we had a newborn, date night was the moment they went to bed. Okay, it's date night. There was a time part. That's the whole purpose. Set a time, focus on yourselves. Date night, weekly. 13, forgiveness. I said earlier, you are a son of Adam or a daughter of Eve. You have sin in you. We will not be perfected until we are dead. That's sobering. It's going to require forgiveness. A healthy marriage forgives. Look, if you've been married for 2 seconds, you've been hurt by your spouse. Because like I just said, we're human. Some of those hurts are small, some are very big. Sometimes it takes a lot longer to forgive. That's okay. Forgiveness in the end is the goal. 14, honesty. Honesty. Sometimes we're afraid to be honest. But being 100% honest is crucial. See, forgiveness can't happen without honesty. And honesty without forgiveness is a recipe for disaster. And so these things work together. 15, take a walk, my friend. If you're getting frustrated, shut your mouth, take a walk. It doesn't end well. It will not end well. You'll be arguing till 2 in the morning. I've been there. Take a walk. 16, what places and activities, those two things, places and activities bring you life? What places and activities bring your partner life? And where can you combine those things to do it together? Both my wife and I love walks in our small town together, talking about the day. And when we do that together, we refill together, there's an energy that starts happening between us and a connection that starts happening. 17, dream together and separately. Whatever your marriage is right now, it can be better. Have you even dreamt about it being better? Things you want for your life. I want a 100-acre farm. That's one of my dreams. That sounds terrible to my wife. That is not a deterrent. That's my separate dream. And as we've moved closer and dreamt, and I've dreamt separately and we've dreamed together. See, early on in my marriage, I was like, oh, she doesn't want that. I'm going to lay that aside. I thought I was doing my duty of dying to myself like Christ did. But what I realized is when we actually had conversations about it, she doesn't care about the 100 acres. She just don't want to do anything with it. And so she wanted to make sure those dreams didn't require a 100-hour farm work week of a wife is not what I was wanting, right? So dream separate, dream together. If your wife's not into or your husband's not into what you are dreaming about, that's okay. But you do need to consider them sooner or later, right? Like you don't want to be going other directions. All right, number 18, love languages. There's a book, I'm not going to dive into it. I will just say mine's words of affirmation and physical touch. That is not my wife's. And so do you know what your spouse's love language are, and are you meeting those on a consistent basis? If you don't know what those in, just type in love languages. So number 19, Experiment. We can get into moments where we're doing the same things every day, and honestly that becomes stale. So are you experimenting on new things, new ways, date nights, new things that you've never tried before together? It can bring you closer together. So I hope those 19 tips will help you have a thriving marriage. Have a good day, and God bless you and your marriage.